All right, Consumer Reports has released their most reliable appliance brands. Now, this is from about 5 or 6 months ago. You see here it's in 2024. And I want to walk you through some of these brands because a lot of people have complaints with Consumer Reports and the brands that they actually give good reviews to. And other people would say that some of the brands that they give bad reviews should get higher reviews. Nonetheless, I just want to show you what they've said. Of course, Speed Queen, number one when it comes to washers and dryers. They're giving them that dark green, as you can see. But, you know, then they have LG at number two, tied at number two. And they're also showing them as a dark green for washers and dryers. And, you know, LG 15 years ago, very reliable. A lot of those still in the field. LG now in America, they have their own factory over here, and so they're transitioning some of the units you see on the floor may actually be made in America. But a lot of the technicians I talk to, they have the same report that LG just isn't quite where it should be. There's often problems with them, with the computer boards, and a cheap LG washer, some guys say, is just as good as a cheap Hotpoint or Whirlpool. But obviously Speed Queen is at the top if you're looking for a washer and a dryer. But then they show this Gaggenau. This is the classic Consumer Reports problem. Oh, we have a brand new brand that's untested, that haven't been in the market that long, and we're going to give them good reviews for some things, and other things we just don't know. So why would you even put them at the top to give them name recognition? To me, that doesn't add up. That should not be. But then, of course, you have LG, and they have their known issues. And but moving down, let's just take a look at a couple others. Wolf Sub-Zero, a few years ago, I think it was 2019, they had them all the way down at the bottom. Miele, number 5. Now again, this I disagree with strongly. They give it a dark green review, just like washers and dryers. They say the Miele is just as good as a Speed Queen. Here's the catch. It only comes in a 24-inch front load model, and that means you're only going to fit 2 cubic foot of laundry in it. So it's absolutely pointless for the average American. You're not going to have a fun time trying to fit all your laundry in a 2 cubic foot mini washer. It's very European, and it's very expensive. Imagine spending $2,000 on a washer that only fits half of what your current washer does. Doesn't make any sense to me. Signature Sweep, Thermador, Monogram. Now, of course, Monogram, Fisher Paykel, these are GE brands, or higher brands, you should call them. So is Hotpoint, so is Cafe. So I find that very interesting that you have 4 of the GE in the very top. And there are some things I like about Monogram because it's the same system they were using. I have a Cafe refrigerator. I love it. I have a hard time seeing the refrigerators go for $4,000. I didn't pay that for mine, but I have a really good refrigerator. Then we see Whirlpool, GE, Frigidaire. These are the average 3. These are what most people are going to buy. And notice Bosch is down below because Bosch is flooding the market with cheaper units. They're riding on the name of the good dishwasher. Notice they have a dark green for the good dishwasher, but there are many other units out there, the 100 and the 500, that just don't cut the mustard. It's not the same thing as that 800 that made them famous. And of course, KitchenAid coming down. Now, IKEA is a mixed bag. It can be some of the Asian brands, or you might see a Frigidaire. Maytag, of course, is also a Whirlpool brand. Amana is a Whirlpool brand. Kenmore used to be a Sears brand, which meant it was mostly Whirlpool, but the refrigerators could be LG. Today, the Kenmore, you're seeing Samsungs and LGs and Midea, all sorts of brands coming under that label of Kenmore. So you just can't trust them. They're just as reliable as Samsung, which is not good news. Notice they've moved down 9 positions since they changed their manufacturing. And then, of course, all of your luxury brands end up at the bottom. So if you're looking for a high-end looking kitchen and you're thinking about a nice refrigerator, cooktop, wall oven, your stove, your range, you know, some of the brands up top, I would actually recommend your Cafe, GE, Frigidaire, and Bosch over your Genair, Electrolux, Decor, Viking. These particular brands require a lot of maintenance, They're high cost fixes, high cost parts. Some of them come with greater warranties, like, you know, your Monogram may have a 12-year warranty on it. Your Cafe may have a 5-year on certain components. But it's interesting to me that Hotpoint, the cheapest of the GEs, is right up there with some of the more expensive names. Thermador moving up. They're actually showing it drop 3 from their last. Wolf Sub-Zero moving up. And so they are making some moves, especially with their new Cove dishwasher. They don't list that here because they showed it as a separate brand. But LG still in the top. It's almost like Consumer Reports has a relationship with LG. They're always pushing them, always showing them as better than everybody else. And I'm not fully persuaded. Now, the information that I give you guys, you know, I talk to appliance guys, and I talk to customers, and I talk to people. I always ask them, what do they have, and what problems have they had? And of course, anytime I release a video, like I'll say, man, Samsung washers are the worst. And inevitably, I get a person that says, I've had mine for 10 years and it's great. Of course, usually with Samsung washers, then I get somebody that says, you know, I've had mine for 5 years and it's horrible. So it is a mixed bag out there because everything comes down an assembly line these days. But when it comes to washers and dryers, you absolutely want a speed queen. If you can't afford one, I personally recommend the GE or Whirlpool is going to be your next 2 best picks. And so I do disagree with LG. I guess I would have to put LG at 3rd. If I were in a pinch and it was on sale or something, I would try one. I'd love to have one to experiment with and put it side by side and run a bunch of loads with it. And so maybe I'll do that one day. But when it comes to ovens, I do prefer Cafe. They're made in the what used to be a Whirlpool plant that they bought, and so GE is making those in America. Very reliable, very durable, very few service calls. That's my favorite pick for a range or an oven if you're looking for one of those. Refrigerators are a mixed bag because a lot of your GEs are made in China. Whirlpool had some problems, but they're getting better. Notice they're showing both of these are actually moving down. Frigidaire also had some issues with their refrigerators. Bosch is not what they used to be. So if you're looking for a basic refrigerator, you know, go with you know, like the GE or Whirlpool. But if you're looking for a nice one, might be worth it to step up to one of the others. I still can't recommend the LG. They're continuing to have lawsuits over their compressors. It blows my mind how they've just deceived people, and they're putting this label on the outside of the box, but then most people never see the box because the store delivers it, takes it out while it's in the truck, and you never see the warning on the box saying that you can't sue them for their compressor. So LG continuing to have compressor problems, and Consumer Reports continuing to say that the LG compressor is okay. So please leave some comments down below. I read the comments. It means a lot to get feedback from actual users. I like to look at the reviews of particular products in the store versus with the manufacturer, because those things are very telling. A lot of times the store will incentivize it. A lot of times your reviews on the manufacturer website are somebody from 2 years later that's having a problem. So, you know, I think that's a better place to look, although there have been a couple manufacturers that have incentivized their reviews, and in theory they can get in trouble for that, but I don't know the logistics of it. Are there any brands on here that you would like to see? Any particular reviews you'd like to see? Frigidaire coming down, but kind of making a bounce back in my opinion. GE and Whirlpool both coming down a little bit. Cafe kind of maintaining where they're at. And so that is it. Hey, if you need laundry, get Speed Queen. If you need a range, get a, I would say GE. If you need a refrigerator, I would probably go with the Whirlpool. Hope this helps you. God bless.